And welcome back, everyone. We are here at facebook.com/live reality games or on YouTube. You can also check us out on YouTube at Live Reality Games. I am joined here tonight by Drew. Drew, how you doing?
Hi, I'm great, Dustin. How are you?
I'm
You don't
doing, yeah.
you don't look like Dom to me. I don't know. I was expecting Dom.
I know, and it's funny because I just showed Dom how to use the whole platform here, and I, as my name, put not Dom, but this time I just kept it simple. I kept my name here. We are covering episode 3 of Survivor Liberty University. I have a tendency of saying Liberty Union for some reason, so my bad, folks, my bad. Does that mix-up happen quite a bit, Drew?
Oh, I don't know. With you, yeah.
For the people watching at home, if you have not caught up on episode 3 was a fantastic episode. We are joined with the not one, but 2 eliminated players. Double tribals are always problematic for a lot of people, and super excited to hear their responses about what happened with their gameplay, and looking forward to sending some light on their gameplay. We are joined here by, first of all, Megan. Megan, welcome.
Thank you.
And then we're also joined by Sam. Welcome as well.
Thank you. Good to be here.
First of all, the whole double tribal is always super exciting to watch, but pretty rough, especially for somebody like Megan. I'll say you were in a tough situation coming up to this. What was your reaction when you first heard out that both teams are going to tribal?
I kind of wasn't surprised. I was expecting my tribe to go to council. From our track record, we were horrible in challenges, so I kind of imagined that we were going to be going to tribal. So it wasn't too big of a surprise for me personally.
You mentioned your tribe being pretty challenged in challenges, if you can say. Looking at the teams, you both seem pretty physically fit. You would really like intellectual people. You especially being I don't know, I saw you as pretty much a physical player too. Why do you think your team didn't gel as well as the other team?
I think it goes all the way back to day 1 when 2 people decided to take the knowledge and be selfish. I think there was no trust from the beginning. Obviously, the red team did. They trusted one another. Nobody took the advantage. So they started off with at least a little bit of trust, whereas we started off with 0 trust. And I think there was just a lot of animosity from day 1. So that didn't really help.
Sam, why not take the knowledge? Was that part of your plan? If anybody was to take that knowledge card, my bet was on you.
Right. Yeah, that was a massive 50-50 going back in my head, waiting as other people went to go take it and wondering if I should take it or not. It really was just a matter of this is day 1. I feel like I'm already going to be sussed out enough. Might as well not take the very thing that's going to put a target on my back. But man, that was I said I said I was going in ready to find advantages and find idols. When I heard advantage, my heart started racing. I was like, oh my gosh, I can get this. But then I just didn't want to put that target on my back. And now I probably should have taken it because who knows what could have happened.
Megan, you also said it in some confessionals this episode too. You were kind of regretted not taking it since other people took it. Do you look back and still regret that?
Oh, absolutely. Considering I was a number 1 target on my team from the minute I walked in. Had I known that, I would have absolutely taken it. If I were to play again, I absolutely would take it regardless of the situation. I just think in a game where you don't know anyone, especially in the beginning, your best bet is trust yourself. So I should have taken it, and I would take it if I could replay it.
Gotcha. But I think it bodes well for you, being able to be saying, hey, I didn't take it. I put my faith in the team, and pretty much your team just let you down, Megan. Dom said it too earlier. He wanted to pass along his regards and saying, Sam, Megan, fantastic players. You two came to win. And as an audience, that's really what we want to see. We want to see you do everything you can. Sam, I know you were a little bit tied up for the week in everything going on. And then Megan, you tried everything. And from fake idols to dealing with people who you were just trying to vote out. So mad props to both of you, by the way.
Absolutely. It was very clear that you both came to play, and I think you both did absolutely everything that you could. At least that we saw. I don't know. Maybe you could have done something. But...
Oh no, yeah, that was I think we both did everything we could in that regard to try to stop it. But.
Now, a little bit behind the scenes stuff. We'll start with Megan. Megan, how did you hear about this Survivor thing on campus? Is this something like you follow? Is there word on the street about this Survivor LU going on? How did you hear about it?
I'm a huge fan of Survivor on CBS. And then my freshman year, I saw a flyer in DeMoss, so I picked it up, and that's when I played on when Drew was hosting it for the one day. And then Derek reached out to me on Facebook since we had both played on with Drew. So he asked if I would do it, and I was like, absolutely. I mean, why would I not? So that's how I kind of got involved with it. Yeah, I texted him after I got voted off and said that if you're doing it again, I would gladly.
Well, we hear Survivor LU is only on the 4th season on campus. Is that right, Drew? Do you know approximately? Sam's nodding his head.
Sam is on production, so he's the one to ask.
Yes, we're currently in the middle of filming our 4th season. After Survivor LU, I became one of the executive producers and now film director of the show. And we're right in the middle. We just started filming season 4. We're about 2 weeks in, and yeah, it's really picked up in a way that I didn't think it would after I played. But
well, my question goes to Megan then. Have they casted an All-Stars version yet? Like a second chance? Like, you have a lot to prove.
No, I don't think so, which I'm a senior now, so this would have most likely been my last semester to play because I'll be going online for my last semester. So, I mean, if they do ask me to come back, I could always stay in a hotel for the time. I'm not excited.
I love that commitment. Like, I really want to see you rock out, even if it's not even like a Survivor thing at the college. Like, for everyone watching at home, too, Drew, you've participated in other live reality games out there as well. There are games casting, and there are opportunities to put that, like, showcase your skills for the audience to see again, Megan. Sam, of course, this goes to you as well, too. So, Megan, I want to see you like kick butt somewhere else. Sam, you're probably busy with production, so.
I've applied to like the Real Survivor and all that stuff, so.
And I'm always ready to drop my current roles to come back and play again. Like I'm ready.
Well, just like the comments are coming in on Facebook, Kirk actually sees the Survivor flag in the background for you. So.
Yeah, awesome.
So Sam, similar question to you. Like, how did you hear about this Survivor LU kind of thing?
Right. So I was literally just walking to class, saw a poster with Survivor, and I've always been a huge fan, so it immediately caught my eye. I was like, Survivor, Liberty University. Like, of course, got to take that opportunity. I came in, auditioned, heard back about a week later, and then another week later, I was heading to the field to join my tribe and start playing Survivor, not on an island, but yeah, they did a good job of making it feel like it was the real thing. And I was ready to come in and play Survivor, man.
Yeah, and honestly, like from the production value and the scenery in this season, like we don't get to see this a lot in college, like Survivors out there. Like you have canoe races, you have a little camp hideaway, you have just all this wilderness available. It looks amazing. So
we're really lucky to have a campus like this to be able to play Survivor on, or just have it in general. Like we've really been like blessed a lot with this amazing campus. We're taking every opportunity we get to film everywhere we can on the campus.
And the filming is amazing too. Before I forget, the votes at Tribal, you were like, I don't know what the setup was, but it looked really cool when you all were casting votes this last episode. Looked really great. Like whoever does like the production, the setting up of the cameras, like you choose the great backgrounds and fantastic job. Like I can't stop talking about how good Liberty University is.
It's true. Yeah, I mean, you guys, the challenges that we've seen and like the scenery and the social dynamics, everything's great. And Megan mentioned it in one of her confessionals on the most recent episode. I feel like I'm playing Survivor just without the island part. So, my next question for both of you, I guess we'll start with Megan, is what was the experience like? Like, how much did this take away from like classes? Like, was this something you're thinking about all the time, or is it like something you have to compartmentalize, or what was that like for you?
Oh, it was life consuming. Like that's all I could think about. I mean, luckily, I guess you could say, I didn't last very long. So it was in the beginning part of classes in terms of I didn't have a lot going on. But you're constantly thinking about it. I would go to work and be thinking about it, be trying to connect with people. Where can you meet up? Trying to film confessionals because they would send us questions every night. So it was a lot, but I mean, not an overkill amount. Pretty manageable, but it was definitely consumed. That's all I thought about for the time being that I was there. So yeah.
And Sam, what about you?
Yeah, it is. It really is time consuming, and you have to like be able to balance like homework and class and social life, and then while you're also playing Survivor. And when I wasn't working on homework, because that's what my dad said, like make sure this doesn't consume your schoolwork. So as soon as I'm done with schoolwork, if I wasn't meeting with somebody or hanging out with friends, I was out looking for idols and meeting and strategizing with Megan and MJ, and just trying and just every opportunity I could, sending in confessionals, texting, calling, strategizing. And yeah, it is time consuming. Like I would lose some sleep over it. I would have Survivor dreams.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. So let's go back to the very beginning real quick and then like kind of transition into this episode. So what were obviously we don't get to see everything, and I'm sure that there were confessionals that were unaired, there were conversations that we didn't see. So Megan, you walk up sort of to that first challenge, you meet your tribe. What happens in your mind from that very first moment after you meet your tribe?
So when I first got there, I was the only girl. So it was me and all the guys, which I preferably wanted to work with first initial, like I wanted to work with Luke. He seemed like the most fit of the team. And then I'm pretty fit. So in terms of challenges, like that's the one person I did want to work with. Nobody like came off as like, oh, I definitely don't want to work with them. It was definitely like you kind of got to meet people, feel people out. In terms of trusting people, there wasn't anyone that on that first day that I was like, oh, that's who I'm going to trust. Like, I mean, you can never do that. After, like later that night, definitely Added Grace was someone that I was like, all right, I got to trust someone. So clearly that was the wrong decision to make. But she was the one person that I would say that I initially was decided to put my trust in.
Well, as far as the edit goes, you and Added Grace seemed to connect with David really well too at first. I think the next scene right after that, you two were like having dinner or something like that.
Yep.
Was it a pretty quick connection when you met with Added Grace?
Yeah, with Added Grace, we had a lot in common. She was easy to talk to. She's super extrovert, so it was, which I am as well. So in terms of that, she was an easy friend to have in terms of the game. And then even with David, he reach out to me immediately. So and then I had Ben reach out to me, Ben and Liz. So like on first night, like I felt like there was a lot of people that were reaching out to me. So I kind of felt like I was in a good position as far as people wanting to be in communication, which is everything you want on the first night in terms of trying to feel people out. And I definitely did trust David too after we had met for dinner to talk about Survivor stuff. Like I did feel like I could really trust him. So I did not want to send him home. I don't know if I had done a confessional about that when Liz had texted me. It was like, oh, we're going David. So obviously you don't want to be in the minority. So I was super bummed to send him home, and I felt really bad about it. I wanted to text him after, but we couldn't. So yeah, it was kind of hard. I never trusted really anyone other than David and Addie Grace.
Yeah, and I guess so. My question was, after the David vote, did you kind of realize that, like, oh, me and Addie Grace are in trouble here, or was it kind of just like, we should still be fine? And then Addie Grace goes out. Did you realize that, oh, it's actually 5 against 1?
I knew immediately, even before we sent David home, that Alexa and Luke were close. I did not know how close Nathan and Luke were. Ben, I kind of thought he was a wild card as far as votes. In the first episode, I clearly was wanting him gone because obviously I didn't want to send David home considering I was sort of in alliance with him. But once David went home and then it was up to me and Addie Grace, I was kind of unsure because I was hearing, like I was having conversations with people that without Addie Grace. And though I was close with Addie Grace, it's a game. And I obviously understood that if I had to part ways with her that I would, but it was never like communicated to me 100% that she was going to be going home. For my conversation or us for Addie Grace, Alexa, Luke, and me, after that conversation, I kind of thought that we were going to be okay. But once she went home, I knew I was done for. So,
well, and one thing that I was going to say, I think you did a great job at in that week 2 was you reaching out to Luke and having those conversations with Luke, I think saved you because everyone had mentioned how big of a threat you were.
oh yeah.
And when you guys lost that second challenge, I was like, oh, Megan is in trouble here. And then you had those conversations with Luke, and I think that is definitely what saved you in the second week.
Yeah, I had my heart. I was guns a-blazing for Luke right after the knowledge was announced that someone took it. I was like, oh, he definitely took it. So I was gunning for him the whole time. And then after we met, I mean, we talked for like 2.5 hours about, I mean, majority survivor, but other stuff. But I was definitely like, okay, kind of have different opinion on him. But I knew he was a threat just as much as he thought I was a threat. So, yeah, I think looking back on it, I think from his point of view, he was kind of running the show, in my opinion. So us meeting and having that long conversation, I think, like you said, did help me pass week 2. Maybe they thought in challenges that we would win the next week. I'm not exactly sure what was going through their head. I mean, they all wanted me out from the beginning.
And Sam, from the Tigress side of things, obviously we know kind of where you stand on Luke at that point in time. But was there any other talk on Tigress about thoughts on Gihan? Because we haven't seen any cross-tribal communication yet.
Yeah, so that's what I think was the reason that was emphasized so much, because I was really the only one who was thinking about people on the other tribe. Like, obviously, I was thinking about taking out Luke Binkley the first chance I could. And looking back on it, I think that was my way of, like, showing that I was Tigress strong. Like, I want the other team out of here. And if we're going after anyone, it's going to be Luke. So look at how Tigress strong I am. Look about, like, I'm thinking about the team, but it came off as, like, I'm playing too hard and I'm already thinking about the future. And I think a lot of that was just pent up, like, I'm ready to start playing and I'm ready to start thinking of everything, but I needed to slow it down. But I think I was really the only one who was talking about Gihan and being 95% sure that Luke Binkley took the advantage. But like Megan just said, like, he came off as the guy who was the leader of the tribe. He seemed like the most strategic. And I think I was in the right state of mind thinking he took it. Yeah, like I was really the only one who was thinking of members of Gihan and thinking of taking them out.
I'm so surprised that you have put Luke in this pivotal, like, leadership role. My thoughts, looking at everything as an audience, I would think obviously Ben would be the leader, or at least the go-to, like, pretend to be the leader kind of thing. Megan, you said you really liked Addie Grace for her extrovertness. What's the word? Anyway.
Just extraness, honestly.
Extraness, absolutely. But Ben seems to have a lot of extraness, I guess you could say.
That's why I thought he wasn't the leader. I thought he was too extroverted. When I met Luke from day one, the minute I met Luke on the other tribe, I knew he was going to be the leader. He was very, very friendly, very outgoing, very like, how's it going, man? How's it going? I knew that guy would be.
Oh yeah.
He'd be the guy who I suspected him to be. Obviously not. He was doing TikToks while I was talking about getting him out. But I had suspected him early on. He just has that personality, and I suspected him to be the leader. And I thought, I didn't think that of Ben.
Yeah, neither did I. He never was in a leadership role, in my opinion. He was always the bottom of the 5.
So I guess kind of shifting over to Tigris, before we get Sam's, I guess, view on what happened from the beginning. Megan, what was your kind of view on Tigris, or Gihan's view as a whole on Tigris?
I didn't know any of them. I knew that Addie, after I'd met with Addie Grace, I knew that she had connections on the other tribe, which is, I think, another reason I kind of aligned with her. I didn't know that that information was going to be shared to everyone, and everyone was going to know that she knew people. So I guess from my standpoint, I was kind of looking at, oh, merge. She knows people. That's good. And I wasn't really planning on staying aligned with my tribe necessarily. Like, I was fine doing whatever. So I think that was another reason I was drawn to her, because she had connections on the other tribe. And I didn't really know anyone from the other tribe. Never interacted with them. And like I told Logan, I would have, if I had replayed, I would definitely have found a way to get in touch with the other tribe. And I don't care what my tribe would have thought. I think that would have been beneficial if they didn't find out. So I didn't really know much about Tigris. And from not knowing them or communicating with them, they were strong challenges, which is a threat when it comes to merge individually, I guess you would say. So I didn't really keep up with what they were doing too much. I just knew that they were a challenge threat compared to us.
Yeah, definitely on top of it with the challenges. So Sam, what were your kind of thoughts as you strolled up to that first meeting for the first challenge, and how did the first couple of weeks sort of play out from your perspective?
It was a lot of Tiger Strong, and I think in episode 2, Luke touched on it immediately. Like they were all celebrating, and Garrett was like, we were all hugging after the challenge. There's a lot they didn't show of that, but I actually was against being that outgoing as a challenge win. I thought that would be a horrible look on us, because Gihan would have even more need to come after us in future challenges. And if that was the strategy they were going for, then that was the one I tried to go along with in keeping the tribe strong. And I think that overall, in normal Survivor, making a tribe bond, it sometimes makes the other tribe want to take you out. So that's, like Luke said it perfectly. Like, the first chance he gets, he's coming after Tigris, and I think that's evident because, like, they hated us, and we were all about keeping the tribe strong. So it was very much a family unit the first 3 weeks. Like, I don't know much of what happened with my tribe after that, after I was voted out. But it was a lot of bonding, a lot of getting to know each other. We watched the Island of the Idols premiere together. And it did feel like a family for those 3 weeks that I was around. And it was very much that it wasn't as chaotic as Gihan was in the first 3 weeks. It was just very, very chill, getting to know each other until we eventually had to go to tribal council.
And that's where the chaos came in. As we saw, there was a lot of, I guess, the Survivor version of high school drama that happened with all the he said, she said, he thought, she thought on Tigris. So I had to watch that like segment of the episode like 3 times to fully understand what was going on. So do you want to kind of, Sam, explain the who said what and who perceived what, just to clarify everything?
Yes, I can do that. So it all really started, and this footage was lost. This was recorded. It's gone. It's not there. MJ and I had met, and we were talking about, because MJ and I clicked immediately. We were sitting down talking strategy. Nate came up, and we were really just talking about who could we work with. And Nate, as he told multiple people, is that we told him we were going after Nicole. That wasn't the case. We had suggested that to Nate. What would you think of this? And he took it as, this is the decision that we're making. Nicole's going home next. That's what's happening. First chance we go to tribal. And he took it as me and MJ made the ultimate decision. and that we couldn't be reasoned with. But in like, we were really just throwing names like, well, what if we went after Nicole first, or what if we went after Dawson first? And I think that's really where it started. That's where it became Nate versus Sam, and trying to find people and like put the votes together. And like really a lot that wasn't shown was that I didn't want to vote Nicole out at first. It was MJ and Megan's idea. I was the one who said, I don't think we should take Nicole out first. And they were, and I was more of a Dawson person. Like, Dawson's too social. Dawson is really friendly, and that's why he's going to be dangerous. But then ultimately it came down to that whole story I told MJ and Megan about them catching me finding the idol, that I decided we got to take Nicole out. And so that kind of became the progression of my trio, trying to gather the votes and take out Nicole. But ultimately, that's what really started. I never wanted a hard press on Nicole, and I think that was misinterpreted. And also MJ and Megan in the tower telling them that us three never met. That wasn't a secret. I don't know why they were treating it as such. I was just meeting with two members of my tribe. I don't, like, if anyone had asked me about it, I would have said, yeah, we met and we talked about this. And I told Nate, too, that we had talked. And everyone perceived us to be the trio trying to run the show. And that's ultimately, I think, why they came after me.
I do have one more question about the Tigress dynamics. Did Garrett at any point strategize with anyone in the first 3 weeks?
No, he didn't.
Perfect.
At least not with me. But man, yeah, Garrett's a character. Garrett, I love that guy, but he's not a strategist.
Well, I think speaking of Garrett being so hidden from us, I do want to bring up on the screen here Drew's Edgic for the episode and the whole season so far. Drew, thank you again for keeping track of this for all of us at home watching. And your Edgic is kind of like a conglomeration of the logic behind Survivor, and then of course the editing too. So it's really interesting. It seems like Garrett has had that invisible edit for quite some time, but thankfully he's under the radar. He had a nice little snippet about how everyone, I don't know, nice is the best word to phrase it, but everyone said, oh, Garrett is harmless. Garrett doesn't know how to play the game. However, what surprises me is that Garrett said he had a little bit of motivation that maybe not everybody knows about. So I'm wondering if that's a foreshadowing for later in the game.
Yeah, I'm wondering what we're going to get from that, because what he said is, yeah, I'm playing it low. Like, I'm not going to backstab anybody, but I'm definitely playing. And then we cut to Dawson saying, I'm going to make Garrett an Instagram page.
Well, here's what happens. So, no, I'm kidding. I'm not going to anything, but.
Yeah, I'm really interested in, because I mean I came in here the first episode, what's Garrett doing? Came in here the second episode, what's Garrett doing? Now we have actually a clue that Garrett is going to do something. So will that take off? Also, speaking of things being done, we have two, I guess, idol instances this episode. So first we have Megan's fake idol that we find out about. So Megan, talk me through your thought process of, oh, I can make a fake idol versus looking for the idol. Who did you tell? How did they react?
Well, especially in a first season of Survivor at the college too. I'm really impressed with you, Megan, being like, hey, I can make this on. So yeah, I'm interested as well.
So I knew I was on the chopping block as soon as Addie Grace went home week 2. So my motto or my idea going into week 3 is I'm going to wreak havoc. So I wanted to talk to everyone. I had valid points to tell people. They weren't just made up, but there was a lot of things I wanted to stir up problems. So that's when I decided to do the hidden immunity idol or the fake idol, because I had no clue of where the idol was. I kind of had speculation that I had heard that it was by a body of water. So I knew that was either the lake or the fountain. So that's one thing I regret. I should have went out and looked. I never looked, because when am I going to look? Was busy. Like, there was just a lot of things that factored into it. So I decided all right, hey, I'm gonna go make a fake idol. I've watched seasons before, like people have done this and it's been successful. So I knew what the like individual immunity looked like that Alexa had gotten. Like I knew what the beads it had. So I was like, all right, hey, I'm gonna go get the same beads because that's gonna make it more believable. Um, so I went and found the same beads, made the idol, and I didn't tell everyone immediately. Like I had a meeting with Ben and didn't mention it to him right away. Kind of wanted to feel him out. And then I was on a FaceTime call with Nathan, and that's the first person I showed it to him on FaceTime, which he clearly believed it because he went and told everyone. So I guess it kind of worked. I told Ben, he was kind of skeptical. I sent him a picture of it. He was kind of skeptical about it. But those were the only two people that I think I told. I mean, word spread pretty quick as seen in the confessional. So everyone knew that I had an idol. So again, the mentality behind it was I'm on the chopping block. I want to do everything I possibly can to stay another week because I had a feeling something may happen in the next weeks because our tribe was dwindling down. Like, I don't know what they were thinking as far as numbers. So my mentality is just make it past this week. Like, you don't know what next week has in store. So I made the idol, kind of talked to, as seen, I talked to Ben. I talked to everyone to try and turn people against each other, which obviously pissed Alexa off because she had some nice words to say for me when she voted me off. But it's just the mentality of trying to stay in the game. Right?
Yeah, and I think the strategy behind it too, you would slip a little bit of information there for some people, slip a little information from there, knowing that that information is going to get back to the right sources and cause this havoc that you were hoping to ensue. And yeah, it seems like there's always a potential for fake idols, and we always appreciate that too, especially when you have nothing else to go to. So, let's see here. But a little bit of knowledge. It sounds like, Sam, you might have had a similar gameplay going on, and we didn't hear about that. So,
yeah. So day one, I had a fake idol. I was ready to come out of the gate, and the plan was if I find the idol, then I'm just gonna put the fake in the same spot and hide the clue and do all this really stupid long-term strategy. And that I figured I'm already gonna find this idol, might as well plan on when I'm gonna plant the fake. And I should have pulled that out before tribal council and said, hey, I found this thing. And I know everyone thinks I've been looking for idols. Well, I found it. And I just was so nervous going into tribal that I forgot to do it. But I must not have either filmed it or sent it in, but I had footage of me making the fake idol, putting it together, being like, the minute I find the real idol, I'm going to plant this, or tell people that I have a fake idol. Yeah, I too had one and it wasn't shown, and I think that's my fault. But
that's crazy. Wow, 2 fake idols within the first 3 weeks of the game. Megan, how confident were you going into that tribal that they, like, which way they were voting? Was it like 50-50, 70-30?
No shot. I had 10%. I mean, if you look back or if you watch regular Survivor, like, you know that it's hard to swing the votes. I mean, I made my case to Ben that he was on the bottom of the 5, which I don't know if that kind of worked, but he agreed with me that Alexa and Luke were running the show, which I told him. So, I mean, I've made my case as best I could, but I knew going in that there was a 10% chance that I was going to make it through, if that. So it was kind of just, I mean, I wear my emotions on my face. I mean, every confessional, every clip of me, like, I was very angry walking in. I mean, I knew I was going home pretty much.
Yeah. Sam, how were you feeling going into? Because you obviously missed the big tribe meeting where everything was discussed.
Oh, I didn't miss it. I wasn't invited. They were adamant on getting me out of here. Because Megan was FaceTimed in because she was out of town too. I was not invited to that meeting at all. So I think a couple of days before tribal council, I knew that, like, because everyone had told me they were voting Nicole, and that's when you know it's not that simple. This is Survivor. No one is going to give you a straight answer. And I was walking through New York City, texting people like, are we still doing this? Because if you want to do anything else, I'm all for it. They said, no, we're doing this. We're doing this. We're doing this. That's when I knew. I was like, they're pulling one over me. Like, there's no way I come out of this. Maybe it was my paranoia. And turns out I was right. They were adamant on getting me out of here. And that confessional was actually hard to watch with my whole tribe meeting without me. And not even wanting to hear my side of the story. They came to the two people who I'd had a conversation with, and they threw me under the bus. And I felt like if I had a chance to explain myself, then I could have flipped the votes a little bit. And I still think it wasn't the right play, but we can talk more about that later if you want. But yeah, I wasn't asked. I wasn't said, why are you going after Nicole? Why do you want to take Nicole out? No one even suggested it. So I knew that it was me going in, and I walked out of there like, yeah, all right, good. Like, we'll see how it turns out.
Well, the vote was split. Nate did receive some votes as well, in addition to Nicole there too.
Yeah.
Do you think that was just on the premise of you perhaps having an idol, or are some people less informed on that tribe?
I think it was the thing of like, maybe I had an immunity idol, but I also think it was like maybe MJ and Megan didn't want to vote against me. But you could see throughout the edits that nobody trusted Nate except for Dawson and Nicole. Nobody trusted him. And they certainly didn't trust me. But I think Ellie said it best. Sam's going to be a threat at the merge, but Nate's shifty right now. And I feel like you should have switched the votes there. If Nate's being shifty now, but I'm going to be a threat later at the merge, use me as a target and take Nate out now. But nobody, again, I was left out of that plan. When I saw the votes for Nate, even I was confused. Why is Nate's getting? I thought it was going to be between me and Nicole. I was the only one who voted Nicole. So they left me completely in the dark. And even when some people wanted Nate, which confuses me so much, why you just didn't come to me and tell me to write Nate's name down. Because I would have done that in a heartbeat if I knew he was coming after me.
Yeah. Now,
Right.
Drew, from outside as well, are you seeing them as splitting in case of an idol, or some people less on the outs that we think?
Honestly, I have no idea. I thought the vote was gonna be either 7-1 or like a 5-3 situation, and I don't know how far apart the like tribe meeting was from tribal council, but to me, I knew that it was turning around on Sam when it was the 7 of them and Sam wasn't there, because Nate spread, I guess, unintentional but also intentional misinformation to other people, and then got the chance to explain himself. And in both instances, Sam was thrown under the bus with both the false information, the true information, and the explanation. And with Sam not getting a chance to explain himself, I kind of figured that that's when we were going to get a Sam boot, and it was either going to be everybody voting for Sam and then Sam voting for Nicole, or it was going to be like a 5-3 situation. And then also we did get Nicole finding the idol, and so that even made me more confident, like, yep, it's definitely going to be Sam here. I felt like Nate did a pretty good job in that meeting of clearing everything up for himself. And I was just like, Nicole has an idol. Nate's going to be fine because he has Nicole and Dawson, and him and Ellie had cleared everything up. So I knew Sam was going.
Well, that was even more hard to watch, is finding Nicole find the idol, because I looked in the same exact spot the day after she found it. I was ready to leave, packing my bags, leaving in 2 hours. I looked in that area, looked in that spot, and if I'd looked there a day earlier, I would have 100% played that thing at Tribal Council. And it would have turned out to be Nate going home. And I don't know what would have happened after that, what my fate in the game would have been. But yeah, I just was screwed so hardcore by Nate, wanting me out of here.
Yeah, and also for everybody watching, and also Dustin, obviously you guys don't know like the layout of the campus. The area where Nicole found that idol is within like 20 feet of the spot where Ben found that note in the second episode. So Ben also could have found the idol. in that area.
We were all looking there, like, because I think it was the idea of the garden, because that was well, it's not really a garden, but it's like a lot of tree areas and stuff, and the theme was Genesis. We were like, so my thought process was Adam and Eve, Garden of Eden. Maybe it's in the Memorial Garden. So that's where I looked, and Nicole beat me to it. But yeah, everyone was looking in that area apparently.
Also, speaking of Nicole, I've just received a text from Nicole about something that we were just talking about that she wanted to clarify. She is telling me that in week 1, the first person she talked to actually was Garrett in a one-on-one conversation. So apparently Garrett did do something in week 1 and talked to Nicole, but then Nicole says, and then I saw what kind of player he was, and we didn't really work together in the following weeks. So that's exciting. I guess Garrett did something. But yeah, so the idol finding, the fake idol, crazy dynamics on Tigress. We got to see a lot of Ellie, which was really fun. Ellie is very expressive, which was a lot of fun on Tigress because we hadn't seen up to that point any Tigress drama really. Whereas on Gihon, we had Megan and Addie Grace giving us all of our good sound clips and emotion. So now we got Ellie, we got Nate, we got Garrett and Dawson. So that was a lot of fun. It was a really fun episode. The episodes for me personally have been getting better and better each progressive week.
Well, that's my least favorite episode. Man, that was just a knot.
We do have a viewer comment too. Pretty much the question goes to Megan here. Jay High responds, after the time that you, Eddie Grace, and David left early, did you think that the 5 of the leftover people were going to bond together, or did you have any inclinations when you left early from that meeting?
Are we referring to back to week 1?
Back to week 1.
So watching that back, obviously, I think that was the number one my biggest mistake, regret, whatever you want to call it. I shouldn't have left knowing that there was going to be 5 sitting there and 3 of us leaving. Obviously, that puts me in the minority right from the start. So not only did I have a huge target going on my back in terms of being competitive and just strategic player, I then left early with Addie Grace, and I was in the minority in terms of 5-3. So I guess I kind of had a feeling that I knew Luke and Alexa were kind of going to be together. Liz, I didn't really know what she was going to do. Ben, I had no idea what he was going to do. The entire time that I was on Tribe with him, I just felt like he was all over the place, and I couldn't read him very well. And Nathan, I read completely wrong watching it back. I did not know that he was as close as he was with Luke. So, yes, I would have stayed with the 5. I don't know if that really would have saved me or not. But that's definitely one thing I would have done differently in terms of right out of the gate.
Well, it sounds like I was going to say like we should do a weekly thing asking people if they'd play again, but we very clearly know that both of you would and should play again in some form of something. But yeah, I'm trying to think of any more like observations or questions that I have.
I think a huge observation of this last episode too, there are so many like dynamic females in this cast, and it's super exciting to have them narrate. I'm so intrigued by like Megan when you had your confessionals, and then we had great confessionals by Ellie, by Nicole, Alexa. Like I really feel like this is a female-dominated season, and I can see a group of them getting to the end and just dominating the males in this. For some reason, I think there's so much potential between them once they all work together. So
yeah, I definitely think the females this season have been really vocal. I mean, Nicole with the first idol find of the season, Ellie being super dynamic, Megan and Addie Grace both were really big dynamic personalities before you guys went out. Oh, I'm excited. I have no idea what's going to happen next, especially with this tribe swap. I cannot wait to see what happens. We were robbed of a Sam and Luke being tribe swapped together argument potentially, that would have been a lot of fun.
I actually think that if Luke and I had ever ended up on a tribe together, we would have teamed up because, like, Luke's an awesome guy, and the minute I met him, like after the show, we became friends immediately. So I actually think I would have changed my mind on Luke. I think I would have ended up working with him, and I think it's pretty clear that the females are dominating the guys when none of us could balance a penny off of a spoon for longer than a minute.
Yeah, that challenge, I was like, okay, 3 coins in. Got it. You guys are all of you are like on top of those physical challenges, but coin stacking, absolutely not.
I almost had it.
You did almost have it.
Would have changed the game drastically, that's for sure.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask, had you won that, what is your perception of what would have happened?
I think Ben would have gone home. I mean, no one will ever change my mind that he was on the bottom of the 5, on the bottom of the 5, him or Liz. But I don't, like Alexa said, I don't know what they would have done. I think it would have been, for me being on the outside, I would have loved it because they would have had to scramble and then they would have had to turn on each other. And that might have, in the next week to come, opened doors up for me. So I think it would have been, if I had somehow managed to stay, I think it would have changed things drastically. But again,
Especially going into a tribe swap where you could have just jumped ship immediately.
Yeah, I think, I 100% would have jumped ship. I mean, I had no allegiance to Gian. I couldn't stand any of them, so I was just ready to get out of there. Great people outside the game, but in the game, I was just not having it.
Yeah.
And then, Sam, you proved Dom wrong. I just want to bring up our cast assessment early on. Sam, you were first boot on Dom. Or no, sorry, first boot on my list. I take that back. You proved me wrong. I'm so sorry.
I was so happy to prove you wrong, Dustin, that I was not the first boot. But Dom called fourth boot. So kudos to him. And but yeah, not first boot. I want to make that a t-shirt.
Yeah, and I think, Megan, I placed you right after where I thought maybe the tribes would like merge or maybe swap at that time. But I definitely had you going further. And I had you beating both Liz and Ben, if that makes you feel any better.
Yeah, I think if I had made it to the merge, I mean, I don't know. There's so many what ifs in terms of what would have happened. I mean, I think challenge-wise, I probably would have fared pretty well. But again, it's not, I mean, it proved that ultimately it wasn't really, in the first 3 weeks, it didn't really matter about challenges. From my perspective, it was all about relationships, and I was on the short end of the stick for that one. So, yeah, it would have been nice to make further than I did.
Well, you were definitely an entertaining, not only character, but also player, which I think is a really important balance. And I know we've mentioned it a couple of times, but both of you were both good characters and players. So
thank you.
Lots of characters and players in the whole season, honestly.
I mean, that makes it fun.
Yeah,
in the interview, that's what they said. Like, when they texted me back, they were like, you would make great TV. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, everybody on this season, especially the little character moments that we get, like Nicole being afraid of squirrels, Dawson creating an Instagram for Garrett, all these little character moments that we get from everybody are just great. So, I mean, you were early boots, but you definitely made this season good so far, at least. If it goes downhill, it's because the fun people
we weren't there.
Yeah. I do have to say, Nicole is right to be scared of that squirrel. When I went looking there, that squirrel was coming after me hard. So that squirrel is not someone you want to joke around with.
Squirrel's going to be the villain of season 2.
I was going to say Squirrel final 3 at least, okay? Squirrel's going to find an idol and play it till the end, I think. So
I'm going hard after that squirrel. If we could put on an all-star season, man.
95% sure that Squirrel has found the idol.
Yeah. I wasn't 100%. I was 95%, and that's all that matters.
Sam, time to wrap things up now, unfortunately. But you're on production for the upcoming seasons. Like, Sam, tell us a little bit about what is to come of LU and what we could expect?
Oh man. So season 2, I can't say much because I wasn't one of the head producers yet. But season 3 and season 4, right after Survivor Genesis, we got some great seasons coming. Survivor LU is not going away anytime soon. I'm honestly amazed to still be a part of it after I was booted so early. I got to give credit to Derek and Logan and Grace and everyone who works behind the scenes of that for keeping me involved. And I got to say, like, some good content coming of season 1, good content of season 2, and season 3 and season 4 are just going to be, like, if you're a Survivor fan, they do it right. And yeah, it's going to be amazing. We're in the middle of shooting season 4, and it's going to be awesome. As Dom would say, it's going to be fantastic. So,
let's see here. Final comment for Megan here. Megan, just another shout out. Now, LRGs need to figure out a way to cast Megan.
Absolutely.
Like, Kirk really wants you to play. Anything that you've gained since your time on Survivor, or anything you want to say in retrospect about like what happened on like anything in the game, Megan?
Yes, actually. So in terms of Alexa's comment saying that like I was crap talking everyone, I don't think I crap talked everyone. I made valid points, and I pretty much only made 2 valid points, which were a resume builder for Nate in terms of blindsiding Luke and Ben being on the bottom of his 5. So I don't think by any means was that me crap talking people. So I was a little offended by that comment, but whatever. I was clearly a threat to her, and she wanted me out. So rightfully so, they got me out when they did, because I probably would have went a lot further had they not. So kudos to them. But that's the only thing I would say.
And then, Drew, any final thoughts, any predictions coming up to this next episode? I know you know the overall, but you don't know the exactness of the show.
My bold prediction from last week didn't come true. I predicted that it'd be 2 sides fighting for Garrett's vote this week. Let's see. What are my predictions for next week? We're going to get a tribe swap, so that'll be fun.
But I'm interested. We're going to be down to an odd number. Do you think that last player is going to be in exile, or maybe just pick to join the team? Or no, we're at 4.
Yeah,
we're an even team.
14 left. So.
Never mind. I'm bad with math.
After my episode, there's 12, I believe.
We started with 16. That's right. We're at 12.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. What is my bold prediction? I don't know. What is a good? I'm trying to think like outside of the box, like bold instead of just predictable. Like I could say like one tribe is going to have majority Gihan and the other one's going to have majority Tigris, but that's boring.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say that Ellie gets in another fight.
Okay. I think Dawson, we heard hint of it that Dawson's ready to like jump ship and start like playing both sides. So I'm interested to see that side of him, because I felt like he was one of the most loyal people at first, but those confessionals that he wants to, maybe he's going to do it and regret it. I think that's going to be a bad choice on him. So.
Oh, actually, I do have another long-term prediction. I think Nicole is going to tell Dawson and Nate about her idol, and Nate's going to tell someone else about it.
Nate will tell anybody about anything he hears, even like what's for lunch. He's going to be like, oh gosh, you got to tell somebody.
Right. So those are my bold predictions. Ellie's going to fight someone, and Nicole's going to leak her idol.
Very good. All right. Megan, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Sam, thanks for hanging out. I'm sure we'll have Sam especially back on later on in the whole universe thing with Liberty. So, Drew, thanks for tuning in. Dom, we hope to have you back next time. Hopefully you don't have to stay at work for much later. For everybody else tuning into the podcast, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching live here at facebook.com/liverealitygames or on YouTube/liverealitygames. We are everywhere, like from Reddit to Discord. I'm learning how to use TikTok. I pressed the wrong button a few times too. I know, right?
You could ask Luke. Apparently Luke knows how to TikTok.
Absolutely. Thanks again for tuning in. And next episode of Liberty University will air this Thursday at 8 p.m. on YouTube. For everyone else, we have the winner and second place of Survivor Boston Season 4 tomorrow, 9:30. So make sure if you haven't watched it, don't watch it. But if you are caught up, make sure you tune in 9:30 tomorrow. Thanks again, everyone. Have a fantastic night.